we are getting into you. You know, you are comprised of your past, your present, and your future. What does that mean? How do the three affect each other, and how do you bring out the best out of that? How do you get realigned? I think that's the conversation. Judy Mzungu Hakula is in the building. Welcome to the show.
Asante nashukuru.
What you are?
Yes.
If nimekuona social media, you were having a conversation with the coach.
The coach himself.
Yes, Robert Burale.
Yes.
And I was stuck there for a minute. Not a minute, you know, like.
Okay, I know,
it's
all right, I'm listening.
And then the comments, it was such a beautiful conversation to have. And just having you on the show today, for me, kama ujai watch Please and Not After Facebook, Zayona, they were live. It was such a beautiful conversation to have. And to think that we are all made up of our, our past.
Yes.
We are here now,
Yes.
and there are things we envision
Yes.
for what our future holds. What is the connection in all of that?
Okay. I keep talking about body, soul, and spirit.
Yes, you do.
So what usually happens is our experiences. I want us to remember that when God created each and every one of us, He created us that we would be able to just be trusting. That's why as a child, if you see a child in innocence, they are just trusting, they are just loving, they're able to connect with almost everyone, unless of course you have a bad spirit around you, which is, that's another story.
Yes.
But the thing about it is, as we continue experiencing life, then one way or another, maybe we get wounded, we get hurt, we encounter rejection, physical abuse, emotional abuse, whatever. That happens at the physical level, which is the body. What then happens is that whatever registers in the body is taken into your soul. Mm-hmm. When it goes into your soul, what happens is that your emotions are wounded. Mm-hmm. So when your emotions are wounded, then you develop anger, bitterness, whatever it is. But then what most importantly happens is your mindset. So something happens to your perception about yourself. Something happens to your perception about other people.
Yes.
And something happens to your perception about life in general.
Situations.
Yes. Mm. So that is how the past affects now who you are today. You begin to process things based on what happened to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's a conversation we must have, because for us to then move to the future positively, we have to correct whatever happened. We cannot correct whatever happened, but we can begin to correct, our emotions by healing, and then we begin to correct our perceptions, so that now, based on that, we have clarity to see how the future can look from a different perspective. Otherwise, Mekali, what tends to happen to most of us, your will then is taken out. When your will is taken out, you lose passion, you lose enthusiasm for life, and that's why most of us are on autopilot. You lost passion. You are just waking up, going to school, going to work, whatever, but you don't seem to have clarity of purpose. You don't seem to have clarity of direction. The past is haunting you.
Sometimes when you talk about the past and what it sort of like does to us,
yes,
you hear comments from people. I've always been like this. Mimi nakwaga sipendangi hata siwezangi, mimi kuna vitu siwezi change, nakwanga nilizaliwa tu hivyo.
Yes.
But sometimes it's not the truth.
It really is not the truth.
It is not
It really is not the truth. You see, what tends to happen is when you have encountered pain, especially as a child, and it affected you, remember that it affects your perceptions. Mm-hmm. So without knowing, your mindset is already being shaped according to the wounds, according to the pain. Yes. So you have learned to condition your mind in accordance to the pain that you went through. That's why now I am very passionate about realignment. I'm very passionate about getting this thing together for people, so that we go back and clean up whatever happened. Granted, we will not be able to change it. But then what will happen is, as you take the healing journey, you're able then to come to the place where this thing stops having power and authority over you. So then you're able to rise above it. And as you rise above it, sometimes it's us who made mistakes. So we are able to forgive ourselves. But secondly, even if it is the other person, then now we are able to come out of the imprisonment that comes because we have been held captive by whatever happened to us. But then I keep saying, many people struggle with forgiveness because you're struggling to forgive before you heal.
Okay. Okay. You know when they say, Judy, forgive and forget,
Yes.
they iyo hii kwangu
Haikuweki,
wajaiandika.
hawajui.
So
Hata I think hawajui.
Ni ukweli kwa
It
sababu
is true, they don't know.
you sometimes you will say I have forgiven.
Yes.
But then you have so many triggers of the same thing.
Yes.
Because you have not forgotten.
Healed.
You
have not healed.
You've not healed.
Yes.
Oh, so you say you can't forget them because you have not healed.
Yes, you cannot even forgive. That's why you seem to have swings.
Okay.
You get?
And you can go on the rest of
The
your
rest
life
of your life.
in that space.
Yes.
And the mind being a beautiful and very powerful tool
Yes.
that we have
Yes.
is it controls a lot of the things. I mean, we give it power and sort of like, say for example, you've been hurt before. Subconsciously, every relationship you get into, or every man probably who comes says, "Hi, Judy, can I take you for coffee?" Is like heartbreaker.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
you keep pointing at them because that is what is at the back of your head.
Yes.
Subconsciously,
Yes.
you need to
Or
heal.
you're singing Survivor in your head.
Yes, umeniona?
I'm a survivor.
Niko tuku, where?
Umeshaweka guard.
Yes.
Yes. And it's good that you're talking about the mind, because that I find is the challenge for most people. There's a lot of information on YouTube. And because there's a lot of information on YouTube, and let me tell you, there are coaches all around. And I don't mean to demean anything that anyone is doing. But let me tell you, Mwikali, as long as you're touching the intellect, pumping people's minds, and talking about willpower, I can do it, I have power, I have all those things, but you haven't touched the emotion. Are you seeing? This plane will crash land.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to come to the place where we address this thing holistically, where we are able to go down to the root of the emotion.
It's a journey.
It's gonna be a journey, but it's a necessary journey. But then again, you have to be deliberate. And sometimes they say healing is a process. You've had that very, very long time. Healing is a decision. Mwikali lazima ufike pahali ujam. You have to get annoyed with being in this trap. You have to see what the trap is holding you back from. And that's why the approach that we take is different. Because if you're going to go for the wounds by themselves, Mwikali, you'll get tired. Some wounds were in class 6 and you're here in your 40s. You understand?
Yes.
But then you have to have a greater purpose that is driving you to go and find out who are you first. As you look for that thing, then yes, inevitably you will find the trash. Then we deal with the trash from that perspective. That helps us to go to the root of whatever happened to you somewhere along the way. Let me tell you, Mwikali, and I've told you the story of my life.
Yes.
I never found healing until I tapped into the reason why this thing had happened to me. And guess when it happened? At birth. Until I understood that psychologically, emotionally, something had happened to me, that there was a disconnect that now tended to affect how I was seeing myself, how I was seeing people, how I was seeing life, and the things that I was now beginning to attract because of whatever was going on in me emotionally. That became the disconnect.
You know, I'm having a moment of, feeling like, how you feel like you're suffocated?
Yes.
And then you're pulled out of the water.
Yes.
You're drowning and then you're pulled out of the water. And you feel a fresh, breath of air come into your lungs. And it's that's what it looks like when you say going back deep and finding what the problem is and being able to just be able to heal from that point. And
I like the fact that you're doing this, because this is what I do for a living. I pull people out. I'm committed.
And today you are gifting us. You are gifting us. The realignment program is having an anniversary.
Yes.
And we, Judy, through us.
Yes. And let me say, and don't even apologize about it.
No.
Because Switch TV has been a formidable force for me. You guys have done a great job. I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate everyone who has been on this team, because I don't take it for granted, Mwikali, for every life that has been transformed because of Switch TV, through what I speak, it has taken all of you. And so even as we come back to give back to your audiences, I just want to say, may the Lord bless all of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
We take it.
Amen.
Back to you guys. So, the realignment program will be taking in two people to just walk the journey of, this being pulled out, rediscovering yourself and getting realigned. The question we're asking you today is, what is it that you're struggling so hard to let go of? What have you carried in your heart for so long? You've gotten to a point with imenichokesha, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to take it off my shoulder, take it off my head. I don't know how to make the next step. How do I go on from here? What is that thing that you're struggling with? Share your stories with us. Share your questions with us. 111 444 111. That is our SMS line. If you have any questions whatsoever, we'll be answering them as well. We are talking about how your past affects your present and how that consequently affects your future. We'll be right back with Judy after this break. Welcome back. I am so excited for the conversations that we're having here, and I hope you are as well. This is Full Circle with Mwikali, and we have Judy in the building. And Judy has extended a sponsorship to two people as the realignment program celebrates the first year anniversary. And the question we are asking you today is, what is that thing? What is that situation that you feel imekubaden amata ho understand shida iko wapi, but you just feel the need to let go, find healing for yourself so that you can build better relationships around you. 111 444 111. Share in your stories, your answers to this question, and we'll be looking at that because we're looking for two winners.
Two winners, yes.
Yes. So we're looking for a male and a female.
Yes.
To balance gender to pigane.
Yes.
Okay. So what will be involved in this one, just before we get back into the conversation, so that they understand what they will get once they get into the program.
One, it's going to be a healing journey, so that you do get to the place where you are able to overcome whatever it is that held you in the past. But the next thing that you must do is to check your mindset.
Okay.
And change your mindset. Sometimes when your mindset is affected by whatever happened to you in the past, one, you begin to have a low self-esteem, a negative self-image, and now we need to change that. But then we take it a step further and now find out, who are you? What was the blank canvas that was given to God by what was given to us by God when you were brought into planet Earth?
Okay.
Then now, once we settle that, which means that one, you have healed, two, you have overcome whatever it is that was holding you back. Now you begin to see you see yourself correctly. Then now we begin to equip you with skills that will help you to also be able to deal with other people based on their temperaments, based on their personalities. Then we equip you also with skills to make sure that you don't go back into that place, which means that you must know now how to protect the image, the gem that is inside of you, because now you must understand. Now that you understand your identity, you are a royalty, you are a gem. How do you carry yourself moving forward that you don't go back there? You can carry yourself, like I keep saying, with dignity and honor, so that people around you begin to esteem you correctly. And finally, we point you back to God, because we cannot do this without God.
Absolutely. So that is everything that you get if you win and send in your questions. Your questions, your answers of the things that you really, really feel that you need to let go of, and why you really, really need this help. 111 444 111. That is our SMS line. Shilingi moja tu, and then you get this amazing program. Now back to the conversation. It feels like it was the same conversation even this one imeshikana. But what are some of the indicators or the reactions to just know that that is affecting me na mahali niko, na mahali nataka kuenda?
All right. The first thing that tends to happen is you develop fear because you are wounded in the past. So when you develop fear, something inside of you tells you, I don't want to go back to that place. And because I don't want to go to that place, I'm not going to expose myself to experience the same thing again.
Okay.
So then what does that mean? I'm not going to let people into my life. I'll deal with you, I'll relate with you, but you will never get to my emotions. I'll never allow myself to be vulnerable before you because I was wounded before. What that denies you is the the benefit of a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Many people, by the way, Mwikali, are there, sometimes even married, but you carried wounds from the past that deny you the ability to really enjoy a healthy and fulfilling marriage. Some people, even within the context of a relationship, you are meeting someone, Mwikali, I don't know whether that has happened to you because you're still in the field. You meet someone and you're just saying,
niko soko.
Uko soko na kujua na kutangaza. Ndio sasa tukusaidie pia.
Judy.
Yes. So that now when you're having coffee with someone, have you ever been in a situation where you're talking with someone and you can just, they're trying, by the way, but there's a wall. They're trying to break down, but the wall is so, it is so deep-seated that they themselves, in as much as they know that it is an important thing, it is an important stage to get into the next phase of a relationship or whatever, they just are incapable. A wall was built around them. Okay. That's one reaction. The second reaction that tends to happen, especially to someone, probably now these ones went through rejection, is that now when they hold on to something or someone, they demand they have very high levels of expectations, things that only God can do for a person. You demand very high levels of loyalty because you're thinking, even you're going to leave me. I have seen disloyalty before. So because I have seen disloyalty before, even at the first sign of someone doing something, you tend to overreact. Why? Your expectations out of people, out of relationships, can honestly not really be met.
Yeah.
The third reaction that we tend to see, if someone probably has come from a place of a wound, is now they tend to lose their self-esteem. They lose their self-image, and because they lose their self-esteem and self-image, they begin to now lean on other people to have a sense of self-esteem, to have a sense of belonging, to get their self-image. What tends to happen to such people? Because they're seeking validation and affirmation from you.
Yes.
It means then that these are people who will usually be in abusive relationships and not be able to come out.
That is true.
They are not empowered enough, or they don't think they are good enough. They don't see themselves correctly.
My worth is tied to you.
Yes. So because of that, they're not enabled to actually demand of the correct form of love because they don't even love themselves in the first place. And then finally, now we have the fourth category of people where now, because of whatever that they went through, they're thinking, I'll never go through that again. And because I'll never go through that again, without knowing, they reenact whatever it is that they saw. So yes. So if, for example, your father was controlling, or your mother was controlling, or your father was abusive, you say, I will not go through it again. But in your head, you tend to repeat what it is that your mother did.
You become the controlling one.
Yes.
Because so that's the only way I will not receive it if I'm the one who is giving it out.
Thank you, yes. So I'm protecting myself. For me to protect myself, let me do whatever was done so that now I'm not abused. I'm not going to allow myself to be abused again.
So it becomes a cycle.
It becomes a cycle. And thank you, because this whole conversation is about us breaking the cycle, Mwikali. What tends to happen, if, as an example, you have walls, the next generation, you will raise them to have walls. I've seen people coming from families where they never learned how to express themselves. Why? They came from a very controlling environment, hugging and everything. They never experienced it. Guess what? Someone from that place, that is how they are, they most likely will pass it on to the next generation. We have to break the cycle. Someone who has no boundaries, as an example, will expose the children to maybe abuse or whatever, or not having boundaries. What happens with the children? They also don't know what it is to demand out of someone when they feel loved or not loved, as an example.
Yeah.
What happens to someone who also came from a controlling environment, and this is what you have seen? You tend to pass it on to the next generation. So even your children now pick that attribute from you, and they tend to pass it on. And even someone who has come from a cycle of rejection, you tend to pass it on to your children, because the overreaction is what your children saw. Without knowing, they also tend to overreact. They think it's normal. So this whole conversation is actually not affecting just our own future, but also affecting our next generation. It's about us breaking the cycle, so that not only for our sake, but for the sake of the generations that come behind us.
This is mind-blowing. because we see these things, we experience them,
Yes.
but then we do not take time to think why.
Yes.
Or the whys are so superficial.
Yes.
But then there's a deeper layer to what is happening to me now, or the
Yes.
reactions I'm having towards life, towards opportunities,
Yes.
towards relationships,
Yes.
towards the things that are good for me in this life. There are people who get into very self-destructive habits because they're like, so umeshasemanga na kuanga hivi.
Yes.
So wacha tu niwaprovie right.
Or they actually si kuwaprovia right. Enyewe hujiamini.
Okay.
Hujiamini. Actually, coaching iko na maajabu. Mtu anaweza kuja, you see potential, but they don't. The work of actually convincing that person
that there is something.
That there is something. But you know, the interesting thing is because the workbook is done by yourself, it is not me who has written C. Are you seeing?
Yes.
So it becomes much easier that way.
Where do we go now? At what point now will I see my future? I have to deal with this.
You have to deal with this because what happens, remember that we talk about body, soul and spirit.
Yes.
And we always keep talking about it, and because God speaks to each and every one of us in different unique ways. So once you receive whatever direction it is that God has spoken to you about, the impediment comes in your mindset. What happened to your mindset? It was affected. So then you don't have clarity of vision. Are you seeing what happens? That's where people begin to lose vision. That's where now, because your emotions, your intellect, your emotions and your will are not in alignment, you lose zeal for life. That's what we need to correct for you also to even be able to see things clearly. And I want to talk even sometimes, even to married couples, by the way. As we think about these things, think even sometimes about your spouse and see it and see where they were coming from. Maybe you might also be able to help your spouse to be able to overcome so that you are also working towards a better family dynamic.
Okay. And how do you do that? You know, it's when I choose to walk this journey by myself, when I decide I want to find out what the problem is and I want to find out how I can get out of this situation.
Yes.
That is not maybe the simplest thing to do, but then it's easier if I decide it. But if I am married to you and I want to help you and you do not see a problem with that, how do I do that? How do I get you to a place of understanding where I'm coming from or what I'm seeing?
I guess, you know, and the change has to begin with you. That's true.
That's true.
To be honest, the change has to begin with you. You have to begin to appreciate and see life differently. For me, I think one of the greatest testimonies that I have had from the realignment program is where a wife comes and experiences something about this program. Then they tell the husband, go for that program. And the husband comes. Then the husband is able also to change his perspective based on where he came from. The wife usually calls me back later and say, now I am enjoying my marriage.
Okay.
But you have to take the journey, even you as an individual, as you take the journey, it becomes easier. What happens, Mikali, when you take the journey is now you have grace for other people. You stop being too judgmental. You understand that this thing happened, I'm like this because of where I came from. This guy or this lady is like this because of where they came from. Once you begin to put the pieces together, to a given extent, you are able to navigate better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is individualistic. I need to walk it. I need to understand it.
Yes.
And when I go through the healing, that is only when I'm able to see who I really am, what I'm really worth, and probably a clear direction of where I want to go.
Mikali, you should be PR manager
for
realignment program.
Assistant
director. No, by the way, honestly, you've put it so well. I couldn't summarize it better.
Because it's important.
Yes.
It is important because this also affects the relationships that we have around us.
Yes.
So how do you know then that, Judy, I am healed now, that I'm okay, that I won't go back to the fear, the destructive habits, holding back and building up the walls?
First, there's a sense of peace.
Okay.
Usually, by the way,
you even said that with a smile.
I said it with a smile because of the testimonies I receive. You know, like you're just going through someone with a workbook and they said, I feel lighter. this thing it's a load. You don't even know what you're carrying. They're like, I feel lighter. And that's refreshing. But then the greatest thing, even as you continue taking the journey, is you begin to attract differently. Remember, I keep saying your soul and your spirit are working intimately. So when your emotions are healed and your mindset has been worked on, your willpower is on point, meaning you have zeal and passion, what tends to happen is that because your spirit now is able to pick that signal, that becomes your spiritual atmosphere. Check how people are responding to you. That's your greatest indicator.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know why I'm doing this? Oh my God. Okay.
Yes.
Read the signs.
Read the signs.
Because
the
they're
moment
there.
you go everywhere, everyone is rejecting me. There's a problem. The moment people cannot connect with me, I love people, but they don't. There's a problem. Or the moment everyone just seems to come through, they don't seem to see my boundary. They just seem to do anything that they want, and I'm feeling uncomfortable. I feel used. That's a sign.
That's a sign.
Every time I'm thinking, I need to get over this thing, but I just don't know how. You have an issue from the past. I saw this in my father. That's a sign.
We need to be aware then.
Yes, that's
we
where
need
it all
to be
starts.
very in the moment for
Yes.
us to be able to understand that this is happening to me.
Yes.
And it's not just once, it's happening a
Oh,
lot.
yeah. But the report card, it happens every day of your life. Life is just giving you a report card, only you don't know. So I've come to switch on the lights for people to realize what are the report card and what is this report card saying, and do I need help?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you keep losing friends,
yes,
you get to the work, or losing jobs sometimes. Umeandikwa, uko hapa, tena uko pale, uko pale, uko pale.
Yes.
Then you're always saying, and then the thing is, we always see that the other people are the ones with the problem.
Yeah.
Not
they don't
not
seem
me.
to like me. Yeah. You actually, let me tell you, because I've been in that place of rejection, you actually wonder what is wrong with me. And with time, after you go through rejection after rejection, you actually build a wall. Why? Because now you don't want to go through another rejection. Yes.
We are going to take a break shortly, but this is just a reminder for you that the realignment program is giving 2 people sponsorship to join for absolutely nothing.
Amen.
All you have to do today is just tell us, what is it that you feel the need to let go of? What is it that you feel the need to forgive? What is that burden that you are carrying that you just you want to feel lighter and you want to feel peace again? What is that thing? Share that with us. 111 444 111. That is our SMS line. Or share it with us on social media. Switch TV KU on Instagram, Switch TV Kenya on Facebook. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Just before, I think we have like a minute to go.
All right.
Where is it? Where are you? Where are you? Here. So, hi Mukali. I'm really, really, really enjoying the show. How do I get my ex, so that means they're not together, to be present in our son's life? I left because of how unavailable he was, and I really want my son to have his father, but I don't really know how to approach him. And I have seen this happen in my life over and over again in my family. So this is something probably I think they want to have it come to a stop, but they don't know how to do it because it's already happening to them, because they're also referring to this guy as their ex. So that means he's not in the child's life.
You see, sometimes when you are carrying a wound, you seem to attract the same people.
Oh no.
Over and over and over again.
Okay.
That person who seems to be attracting emotionally unavailable, an emotionally unavailable person or people, because it seems to be a pattern, must also be coming from a place of rejection. There must have been a cycle of rejection in her family that she seems to be seeing and be reenacting. Okay. So there's rejection after rejection after rejection. So what happens is that because of that, you are looking for affirmation. But when you're looking for affirmation, you're not even looking for affirmation from someone who is able to reciprocate.
Yes.
You're seeing the lack of boundary and what it's doing. Yeah. So that is what now she needs to heal from, begin to see her sense of worth before now trying to latch on to this man to bring him back. Once she sees her sense of worth, chances are maybe the situation might turn around because this other person is also forced to see your sense of worth. But even if he doesn't, you're better able to navigate through life anyway.
Okay. 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 So we have your 2 winners.
Yes, thank you.
And probably we won't even get to answer
It's all right,
because
time.
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, you're getting into the program, so all this will be taken care of.
Yes.
Hi, Mukali and Wanjiko from Thika. I'm just tired of my life. My dad killed a man who he assumed had a relationship with my mother. That's how he went to prison. I was left with my mother and my youngest sister. My sister was lucky to go to a boarding school at a younger age, and it was just mom and I. Either my mother never processed daddy's trauma, and so she brought it to me. My mother is the most toxic human being I've been around. Was trying to be very strong for everyone. I was quiet, kept everything to myself. I have lost a zeal for everything. I have tried suicide a few times. I have zero self-esteem, identity crisis and all at 26, and I have no idea what I want to do with my life. I really, really need this healing program, please. And you got it.
Thank you.
You got it. You got it. We'll get in touch with you to let you know how you can get directly in touch with Judy. And our second winner, hello Mikali, I'm Richie. I don't even know where to start. All I know is I am lost and emotionally unstable. I have tried finding healing through research and YouTube, but it's like I'm punching in the dark. I can't clearly see and know where I'm punching. I need your help with the realignment program. That's all I have to say for now. Thanks. Richie, you're in.
Thank you.
And congratulations to the 2 of you, Wanjiko and Richie. Judy will let them know. I'm going to put your number at her.
Okay.
The social media.
All right. At Safarini with Judy Mzungu Hakula, that's how you find me. That's where we take the journey of life together. Let me say it again. At Safarini with Judy Mzungu Hakula on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, yes. And then finally, if you want to get in touch with me on phone, 0714-722-733, 0784-722-733. Karibuni, let's get realigned.
Yes. And congratulations
Thank you
on your anniversary.
much. Thank you so much. And I'm grateful to you guys.
Great.
Yes.
You are welcome.
Amen. Thank you.
We are welcome.
Thank you.
I realized leo kizungu yangu inaenda. We're going to take a very short commercial break. When we come back, we are going to be talking matters your eyes. So don't go too far. This is Full Circle with Mukali.